Imagine being told that everything you know about time is a lie. What if I told you that time, as we perceive it, is the greatest magic trick ever played on humanity? Stay with us as we delve into groundbreaking discoveries from the James Webb Telescope, challenging everything we thought we knew about the fabric of reality. The solar system rotates and acts as a force. The galaxy rotates and affects it, pushing into it. If you separate from them, you have no force pushing you through, and with the right frequency, you can basically travel anywhere instantly. It all depends on the frequency. If your past didn't happen and your future doesn't exist, we've all been lied to. Time is perhaps the greatest magic trick we've all blindly believed in. So it shows no visible propellants, just like those unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP, shows no visible propellants. They don't have a heat signal, so they have to work in a completely different way that allows them to move. If we could figure out how to manipulate it, pick up the Earth's frequency and figure out what is equal and opposite, we could set up instant travel. This is exactly the assumption that the new discoveries made by the James Webb Telescope will move forward. You will be shocked to learn that the biggest name in science confirms what we have suspected for decades. Time does not exist. Join us as we explore why Taryn Howard believes the James Webb Telescope proved us wrong. Time is a controversial topic. Look at the nearest clock. What you are looking at is one of the most controversial, contradictory, and complex concepts in physics, time. In the study of space and matter, time is the most complex subject in science. It feels both real and abstract. For us, time is like a river. It flows, it inevitably moves forward. Time also has a direction. It always moves forward unless it collides with the time machine. It also has a subscription. One event after another happens. You cannot skip one event to another. And of course, time also seems to have its own duration. It is a measurable time interval between events. Your moment is your gift, which is very real. In terms of space, time appears to be the universal background through which all events flow so that sequence can be ordered and durations can be measured. But what if we tell you that everything we describe isn't real and it's all in your head? Or is it a language issue? Everything that has come or gone tells us that time is not always within reach. We have a privileged gift. For decades, scientists have asked whether time represents the reality of the physical world, or whether it is just an artificial construct that we believe we understand our reality. Within this argument, you can see that time is also a social construction. We believe that the destructive great wars of the 20th century are done and dusted because they are in the past. But scientists say time may not operate at the level of continuity and discontinuity we've come to expect. The categorical existence of time, or its seamless unity without parts and event as we know it today, may be non-existent. But we also cannot deny that the passage of time is not a fundamental aspect of the human experience. Take any emotion or moment. Everything is destined to slip away in an instant. It is perhaps the most intimate experience we have of space or mass. When time slips through our fingers to initiate some change in events, it shows the flight of an arrow that takes you from the direction of the past to the future. For some scientists, it is comparable to an ever-turning current that carries us into the present, but carries us into some perspective dimension of space. Let's say that time passes when a person mourns. You experience losses, and over time the loss seems less devastating than it did at the time. We attribute this experience to the passage of time, meaning that time as a physical quantity has passed enough to give you space to accept the loss. But the thing is, the passage of time may not have a scientific basis. Still shocked? The nature of time, no matter how many metaphors we use to describe the passage of time, also contains something destructive.
Nothing in known physics can explain the reality of the time that has passed so far. Although we have been working on the scientific concept of time for decades, we have not found scientific evidence that there is a concrete basis for the passage of time or the passage of time from the past to the future. If anything, physics tells us just the opposite. According to physicists, time does not flow or cannot flow because it is simply not real. Everything you see on your watch or how you imagine the sequence of events in your life has no scientific proof. It's all a big misunderstanding. This is an idea that many scientists and theorists have embraced over the years. Even big names like Turan Howard said something about this controversial concept. But why do we hardly bother with these difficult questions? Why have we deluded ourselves to believe that our present moment is privileged when scientists say that everything happens at once? Honestly, the science of time is visceral at the moment. When this moment is real, everything changes for you. It turns out that our past and future do not exist, at least not in the scientific sense. We've always heard that time is short, and that's because the big names in science reinforce that idea. What actually happens is again a matter of scientific heritage. There is a sharp separation and a great dispute. One group of scientists sees time as we understand it, or if they do not fully accept the idea, they at least observe the appearance. Additionally, there are scientists like Howard who believe that time is not changeable as we understand it. It hardly exists. For those who also believe in the latter, NASA is perhaps the top name thanks to its management of the James Webb Telescope. It is such a powerful instrument that it can look into the history or past of our universe when it was just born. But if time happens simultaneously, where does the telescope look? This is a question of the moment that has shocked the scientific community. It turns out that time doesn't matter at all. In our routine life, we divide time into 3 different parts: past, present, and future. This is how we also understand our life linguistically. The structure of our language revolves around this key difference. Our reality is our present, the past is the period of time we have only talked about, and the future is what is to come, and we are not aware of all the details. This understanding, says Scientific American, in this simple picture, the present of our conscious awareness is constantly sliding forward, turning events that were once in the immutable future into a concrete but fleeting reality of the present, and then pushing them into a fixed past. Well, even beyond scientific understanding, it's just common sense to us. But in fact, it contradicts modern physics. Even Albert Einstein called the past, present, and future stubborn illusions. This is also where the special theory of relativity takes root. According to the famous physicist, time is relative. In very simple terms, the rate at which time passes depends on your frame of reference. 2 people in 2 different frames would experience time differently. For example, they may not agree on how long the event lasted or how long it lasted. Seconds can also vary. One observer's second may be longer or shorter than another observer's second, depending on their frame. So yes, even simultaneity is relative. If Einstein's words are anything to go by, it doesn't matter for the present, because depending on your frame, your gift can be drastically different. Suppose there is some hypothetical alien civilization that is closely monitoring everything that happens on Earth. When they ask, "What the hell is going on now?" you won't really get a definite or definitive answer. This is because there is a huge distance between the 2 planets, up to about 20 light minutes. Whatever happens on Earth, what's information? You can't travel to Mars in a flash, right? Information does not travel faster than light. So everything a Martian would see on our home planet has already happened. The visible sight is not born at the same moment. The event only becomes apparent when the light has had a chance to travel between the planets. This phenomenon, which is observable, changes everything we know about time. Given Einstein's theory of relativity, what you conclude as your gift depends on your speed. What you can observe on Earth from the Mars space station is different from what an astronaut flying by the planet near the speed of light would see. Depending on the speed and direction of the astronaut, they can witness something completely different. Yes, everything is relative. Such differences in physics force us to look at time, especially the absoluteness of the present. When we use the words now or now, whose present are we really referring to? When 2 pieces are in relative motion, their assessment of an event may differ, and this is conceptually very destructive. One's future has already become the past, and the past is the other's future. So, how to solve this problem? Well, in this scenario, scientists assume that the past and future are fixed. According to Scientific American, this idea is called a blocker, where physicists prefer to think of time as a whole, a landscape-like image of time where all past and future events lie together.